Long-keeled boats have many advantages.
I'm just going to lock off the pinnacle here.
You'll see a bit of this in episode 10 of Sailing Fair Isle, where we get her to track in a straight line even in quite heavy conditions. This video, though, is about manoeuvrability, not a strong point of long-keeled boats. The reason for this is their lack of steerage in reverse. Out of the water you can see the reason why. Having a keel the whole length of the boat means there's no real pivot point, and at low speeds in reverse all the rudder really does is act as a bit of a brake. There's just too much keel keeping you straight. Fair Isle tends to drift slightly to port due to prop walk, but prop walk isn't usually strong on these boats, and a little wind or current will make her go anywhere really. The rudder makes no difference to this at all, so we need a different approach to manoeuvring a long-keeled boat. As discussed in reverse, the prop wash is over our keel and the rudder does little or nothing. But in forward, a strong blast from the prop will give you a kick sideways. Of course you'll also move forwards, but long-keeled boats tend to be heavy displacement boats, so the inertia of them means using short, powerful blasts you can move the stern round without much forward way. Let's see it in action.
We're obviously just dead alongside the berth here, and the good thing about a long-keeled boat is you can actually move it sideways. I'm going to move the wheel all the way over as if we were steering hard to port, and then give ourselves a little bit of backwards way and then blast her forwards. And what that does, you'll see, is actually just move the back of the boat out. So I'll do the same.
So with the addition of a bow thruster, we can shift the stern and the bow. So if you're forced with a difficult situation like this, it should be possible to get out without bouncing off too many boats. Bit of backwards wave first so you don't make ground forwards, and short blasts to get you round. I find this much easier than springing off with lines, something I admit I was never much good at. Ropes have a mind of their own.
I'll do the same again, just go backwards just so we've got a tiny bit of backwards way on, and then blast her forwards. And I've got a bow thruster as well, obviously, so I can keep the front out, but this is moving the back of the boat in that way without actually going forwards at all. So it means that you can crab yourself along, and actually you can move a long-keeled boat pretty much about a length and a quarter probably of its own length. You can turn it in its own length.
So I hope that's explained back and fill if you weren't familiar with it before. While we're on the subject though, a couple of other relevant bits I've left out of previous videos. If you watch the boat lift video we did in the summer, I talked about how the max prop feathers, but I left out this bit that's relevant to manoeuvring. As well as the feathering thing though, the other thing you might not realise about the prop is that it's really good in reverse. A normal fixed prop, it doesn't get much grip on the water when you put the boat into reverse, and with a 26-ton boat you want to be able to stop it quickly. So having a prop like this, what happens is that it goes from its forward position round into its reverse position. Try and do that gently, don't go quickly from forward to reverse, because it puts a lot of wear on the prop doing that. So you've got to be quite gentle with it. But once you've done that and you're in reverse, you give it a good blast in reverse, and it really does get a grip on the water because the blades are orientated the right way for reverse, whereas obviously a normal set prop is just there to push you forward and actually can't get any grip going backwards. So it's a really good thing, I think, to have on a boat like this, especially long-keeled, where you manoeuvre with a thing called back and fill, where you're just giving it little thrusts to move the back of the boat around. It makes that job much easier. So great prop to have. But what does that do to the engine, I hear you ask?
Well, you might be thinking that blasting backwards and forwards would be bad for the engine doing the back and fill, but actually nothing could be further from the truth. Loading a diesel engine is a very good thing every now and again. Might not be good for the gearbox and the folding prop if you're doing it too viciously. You've got to be careful with how you do it. But yeah, putting load on a diesel engine is actually a very good thing, and I can show you here. I'm taking the exhaust elbow off because I've been waiting for this new one which has just arrived, because when we bought Fair Isle, the turbo was just suited up. It was seized. I had to have it completely rebuilt, and that's basically the former owner, I think, killing the engine with kindness. He wasn't thrashing the engine at any point, going along at sort of 2,200 revs, 2,500 revs when it's cruising, and never really blasting it. That never really kicks in the turbo if you do that. Having a turbo on a boat, actually, I don't think it's that good an idea. A lot of boats nowadays are overpowered. This is 115 brake horsepower engine. That's probably, it's a heavy boat, so it probably might need that, but I don't think it needs a turbocharged engine, to be honest. It doesn't need that extra power. And case in point, we didn't even notice. It was only the first time I went to service this, and when we had it surveyed, it wasn't noticed that the turbo was completely stuck. We didn't know how the engine would normally sound. It does sound a little bit different when you've got the turbo running, but yeah, no one noticed. First time I went to service everything, found completely seed solid, so as I say, rebuilt that, and this is what the exhaust elbow looks like. So if we bring this round, you'll see just how coked up it is, and actually the outlet end is the bit you really need to see here. It's surprising actually any water could come through this. It looked like it was completely sealed. Back to the new one, and yeah, you can see just how coked up it is.
Thanks for watching, and please like and share.